up, guys, and welcome back to Project Z Garage. Today we're going to tackle the rear brakes on the Audi Q3. We just finished the front brakes. That's pretty straightforward, but with these newer cars, they're running the electronic parking brake, and that can be difficult if you want to do your pads or rotors or any of the two. The main issue is that if you do not use VAGCOM or another type of software to disable the electric brake, it keeps the piston pressurized. And if you try to push the piston back in to put your new brake pads in, you could cause damage to the electronics or to the caliper or one of the two. So what we're going to do is, for us, we're going to go into VAGCOM. We're going to use our VAGCOM, and what you have to do, let's see if I can video this as I do it. It's a little difficult. We're going to go into control module. Hopefully it connects. We're going to go into chassis, and then we're going to go down to parking brake, and then we're going to go to basic setup. We're going to click OK. Make sure your car is on a battery tender or something so you don't damage anything. And then what you're going to do here, you're going to go to the drop down, and we are going to go to open rear parking brake prior to pad change. We're going to click that, and you can hear the the electric brakes winding back, and then you should get that parking brake under diagnosis pop up on the dashboard. So we're going to say done, go back, close controller, go back, and we're going to exit out of this so that we can disconnect everything, and then we're going to start working on changing the pads and the rotors out on the Q3. Let's get to it. Alright guys, first thing we're going to do is take out the center cap. So if you guys have like a pick like this with a right angle, or if you go in your trunk, if you still have the wheel and tire kit in there, there should be a tool that you can do this with that you can pull. There we go. Pop that off. These are a 17 millimeter. We have a lock, so put our lock on there. We can get it fit. There we go. Put some gloves on. Because safety first. Sure that's in reverse. All right, I think we're good. Whew. Yeah, guys, be careful, man. When you take your car to get a line, you know, like wheels done, tires done at a shop, tell them don't over torque the wheels. Have them use a torque gun, because if you get a flat tire or something on the side of the road and you need to do this by hand, you'll never be able to get these things off, and you'll be very upset. Okay, we're done with this. Get the wheels off. Alright guys, so as you can see, it's definitely time to change the pads. I mean, I guess we still had maybe a couple 1,000 miles left on it, maybe not, we'll see. But a couple of things that you will need to do to get the rotor off. It is a T30. Let me just double check that. Yep, T30. So it's a Torx. Let's see, is it gonna zoom? Alright, T30 on that. And if you look closer, you can see the electric motor there for the calipers. And we have the sliders there. Which we'll need to remove so that we can get this rotor off. So first things first, what I like to do is I'm gonna get some brake cleaner. I'm gonna spray everything down really well so we have a clean surface to work on, and get this rotor off. Let's hit it. Let's see if it'll come off. I got my new Milwaukee impact, mini impact. I mean, you want to get something that's easy work. Put this someplace, get a magnetic tray or something to put these in so you don't lose it. And next we are going to work on getting this caliper off. Alright guys, so we're gonna remove these 13 millimeters. There's a 13 millimeter there, we got a 13 millimeter there, and let's get the caliper off. Okay, so the issue we ran into here was that when we started to turn the bolt, the whole setup here is turning too. So if you can see here, there's another bolt. So we're gonna get a 15, put it on that, and we're gonna use the 13 to loosen it. The ratcheting wrench helps a lot. Alright, that's one. Let's try to get the other one off. Same thing here. put a little bit of blue Loctite on these when we put them back on. Now let's see if this caliper wants to come off and work with us. Okay, it's coming. There we go. Move it back out of the way. And as you can see, they still have a little bit of life left on them, but this rotor has seen better days. So now we can, once we have that out the way, we can see what is holding this caliper mount on. Okay, I see it. It's those big screws back there. But I'm curious if we take the brake pads out, if we might be able to get the rotor out without having to take the bracket off. But let's see. Alright guys, so this is where it gets a little complicated. For some reason, on the rear, to get the caliper bracket off, what the bolts that hold the caliper bracket on are a triple square. I don't know if you can see it there. Right there. And that is a it's a M14. So a M14 triple square. Luckily, I have this because of the Audi. And what we're gonna do is, let's see if we can get this off. Alright guys, those were a pain to get off. We had to put the impact gun on it. You're not really gonna see it, it's too dark. But let me get this one out. And you can see, that's the triple square. That's the top. Just get the bottom out. The bottom's out. Now this should come off. Like that. We'll clean this up. Now we have to get this rotor off. That sucker is on there good. We sprayed it with some penetrant fluid around the base here and the screw hole behind it, but we're probably just gonna have to hit it with a hammer and see if we can get it off. Alright guys, so we got the rotor off. As you can see, there's a ton of rust and it was a pain to get off. You just gotta use a big sledge, keep turning it and hitting it around and it'll pop off. Before we put the new one in, we're gonna clean up the hub here and we're gonna put a little bit of anti-seize so we don't run into this problem again. Now let's look at what we're gonna be changing these stock ones out for. We are going to these, which we got from FCP Euro. These are Zimmerman, and these are coated and they're drilled. And once we clean this up, we'll put it on. It'll reuse the screw that holds on the rotor to the face of the hub here. We're gonna line that all up and put it all back together the same way we took it off. Just follow the same steps. But make sure you clean this up, put a little bit of anti-seize around there so you don't run into this problem where you have to bang on it a bunch of times to get it off. Alright guys, so we cleaned it up with a wire brush. We put on the anti-seize. Now we're gonna take the rotor, slide it back on there. I'm gonna have to find where the hole is for the keeper. There it is. Hopefully it stays. Voila. Uh-oh, it's hanging. But Put that in. Do you have the T30, Al?
Yes.
Can you give it to me? Thank you. Put the T30 back on. There we go. That looks good. Now we're gonna hit the rotor with some brake cleaner. Get a clean rag, a semi-clean rag, get all the fingerprints, everything off of it. And now we can reassemble. Well, actually no, we're missing a step here. We have to push the piston back into the caliper. So let me set you guys up and show you guys how we're gonna do that. All right, so we put this in here like that. It's a tool, and it pushes against like a brake pad, and it ratchets and pushes the piston in. So we got it all the way in as far as we would like to try to get it to go in. Now we can work on putting the brake pads on and reassembling. First, we got to put the caliper bracket on first. So I might hit it with a little bit of blue Loctite and then screw everything back together. All right, guys. So as I was saying, we're doing the Power Stop Performance Brakes pads. This pretty much is an all-in-one solution. It comes with everything you need. You don't need anything else. New grommets, new retainers for the brake pads. You know, all of these you should replace. Put new ones on. It'll help the brake pads slide smoothly back and forth and not get jammed up and cause uneven wear. We've already wiped down the rotors with brake cleaner for the first initial, for the break-in. Everything is tightened up. I will put the torque specs in the description so you guys can follow along. And then right now the only thing left now is to put the wheels back on, tighten everything back up, and take it for a drive. Now Power Stop recommends, here we go, let's look at it here. First thing, when you open the box, it gives you the break-in procedure. So the break-in procedure here is 5 moderate to aggressive stops from 40 miles per hour down to 10 miles per hour in rapid succession without letting the brakes cool, and do not come to a complete stop. If you're forced to stop, complete the stop and either shift the vehicle into park or give room in front of you so you can allow the vehicle to roll slightly while waiting for the traffic light. The rotors will be very hot, and holding down the brake pedal will force the brake pads to contact the rotor and possibly create an imprint on the rotor. This imprint may contribute to creation of brake judder. So continue the break-in by completing 5 moderate stops from 35 miles per hour to 5 miles per hour in rapid succession without letting the brakes cool. You expect to smell some resin as the brakes get hot. After this is complete, continue to drive the vehicle for as long as possible without heating the brakes excessively and without coming to a complete stop. Try for about 5 minutes at moderate speed. This is the cooling stage. After brakes have cooled to standard operating temperature, you may use the brakes normally. So that is the break-in procedure for Power Stop. So once we get the wheels back on, I'll give the car a wash because it's filthy, and we'll start working on taking it for a ride. You will have to go back into the system like I showed you in the beginning, and instead of releasing the electric brake, there's a option to put back to wind the power brakes back in, and it'll even say in parentheses after brake pad change, and that will tighten everything back up again. And test it out, make sure everything is working properly, initially before you take it on a real drive, back and forth in the driveway, just to make sure everything is good. And that's it, you are done. Rear brake pads and rotor change complete. Guys, if you like the video and you guys want to see more content, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that bell option, that'll notify you for new videos, and we will catch you guys in the next video.